Sanderson goes deep. The breeze carries it to 55. Graham! Oh, he could nearly kick it from here. Scarlett leading forward. Graham! Scarlett! Scarlett!
Yeah, I do remember it because they were obviously a really good team, and I, from memory, I reckon they'd finish top of the ladder, like minor premiers, for a couple of those years around that mark, maybe sort of 2002, 2003, and didn't ultimately win the flag until 2004, but they were a really good team. Led by Matty Primus, who was a great ruckman and a great leader and a really hard, tough leader. But their midfield, which was my particular focus, was super deep. I remember Josh Franku, I remember Nick Stevens, who I reckon I played on in that game. But then it was Sean and Peter Burgoyne as well. Josh Carr was in there, who was always stirring up a little bit of trouble. So they were really good quality, deep midfield, but had a hard edge to them as well. It was some tough games. I remember us being a pretty young team, and I reckon it was the sort of the years where myself, but also Corey Enright and Joel Corey and James Kelly, Stevie J, Chappie, like all those boys were kind of learning our craft, and you know, probably given we'd had a few seasons under our belt now, we were starting to get it, but we were still probably pretty inconsistent at that stage. We could all play the game, we were all learning the game under a brilliant coach in Mark Thompson, and we were starting to understand the game. You know, that 2003, so I would have been 22. So Stevie J and Gaz and Jimmy, they'd be 19, 20 years old. So we were still really young. And Matthew Scarlett, you mentioned, I know he had a nice little moment right at the end of that game. He was probably the oldest, and with Tom Harley of that core that became the premiership teams. So he might have been 24, 25 roughly in this game that we're referring to. So it was great that we could see it through as a group. But in 2003, I don't reckon we had a clear picture that, yeah, we're going to be this really great group of guys who get to have wonderful success together. We were still pretty young, pretty inconsistent, pretty wide-eyed, just thinking, hey, let's keep learning, let's just keep trying our hardest, and hopefully we get somewhere. But taking on Port that day, they were top of the ladder from memory then. We knew we had a huge challenge on our hands. So you know what's weird about memory is, my memory, if you'd asked me without prompting me there, what that last play that unfolded was. So Matty Scarlett had run from fullback off, at a guess, Warren Treadray, I'm going to guess, had run right down. My memory, for whatever reason, had Matty Scarlett picking the ball up and kicking the goal from the goal line. But you're right, he actually guided it through, didn't he? So it was a Benny Graham kick. And then he gave that celebration, which was ridiculous. I had no clue what he was doing at the time. It turns out it was a WWE wrestling thing, which he was into massively at the time. And Scarlo did that. And I just remember laughing, thinking, what the hell was that celebration? But I was pumped that we'd taken the lead and we held on and won it. The great thing about Bomber Thompson as a coach, he never wanted me to be a total negative tagger. It was always limit your opposition, beat him, make sure he can't impact the game, but get off at the right time and find the footy and attack. And I was playing on Nick Stevens, who went on and played at Carlton, and was an outstanding midfielder, really high quality user, would get heaps of the footy. So I'd set myself, limit him, just stop that outside ball. Don't let him get the really dangerous ball where he's hitting up his forwards like Treadray, you know, lace out. He was a beautiful kick of the footy. So I thought if I could take that away from him, it would help. But I also knew with Nick that there was opportunities to push him the other way and try and use a little bit of his petrol chasing me. And some days you just end up in a good spot, the right spot, and you find the footy. And you know, to be able to have as much of the ball and hit the scoreboard, kick a goal, and have a really good attacking impact. Sometimes it just works out that way, and I was pleased that was one of the days it could be my turn.
We're underway, and it's going to be Dean Brogan.
So Warren Treadray hands the ball back, then gets it himself, and then just hammers the ball in. Big kick. This is a big bomb. He's kicked a goal.
The use of the ball at the moment to a free player is very good.
Sanderson too far out to score. Will drive it deep towards the hot spot. Brogan's checking back there, but the mark has been taken for Geelong.
Wazinski is quick, loves to take him on, carries the ball well. Here's Maloney. He's Been a revelation since he's come onto the ground. Kicks the ball deep and long. Hardwood was pushing and shoving with Ablett. He's got great hands. Gives it across to Chapman who kicks a goal. Super play by Ablett. To space. Corey stands his ground and he's got it.
Cats.
So Corey will kick from right on 50. He's got the breeze in his face. It's left to right. You would expect it to hold right up, right to the line. Is that a goal? That's a goal!
To Hardwick. Kent's got a little careless. Hardwick, will he make them pay? To the goal square. Treadray. Oh, Matthew Scarlett! Long ball to the goal square. Spriggs the crumbing. Handballs to space. King, Riccardi, left foot snap. Another one.
Breaks the tackle and finds Pickett. What a goal! A miracle goal by Byron Pickett. This is a very tough angle. Corey kicked a miracle goal at quarter time. Chance in front. Chapman.
Possibly could. Getting it in quickly and catching Port out.
Chapman for his third goal. He's happy, and so are the fans.
For Ablett. Shrugs the tackle. Drives it inside 50. Coming out, Kingsley. Plays on. Johnson steadies. Delivers.
Having a run on the ball, playing on Ling, gives it across to Jew, who's a thumping kick. Rams it home.
He's now picking up Ben Graham at centre half forward.
Remarkable straight to Ling. Now, Primus wants it deep against Milburn. Treadray goes in that direction, makes him work, he dives, he's got it. It'll be a very tight ear. He's going to give it to Scope when he plays on, he's out of bounds. He walks back in, he kicks a goal, he might have kicked it. Oh, Ridge would be proud of that. Drive it long to the goal square, Primus getting back Scarlett.
That took some courage.
With the flight of the ball. Yeah, out to score. Lead is onto the pocket by Treadray. Warren Treadray scores a level. And what price another draw in this AFL season. The Eagles and the Lions at the top of the ladder have already had one. Treadray from 45 metres out against the breeze. Coming back. Goal! The Power are in front. Has to find someone. Clock is running. Goes short. Sanderson centre half back. Marks plays on. They're away. Sanderson goes deep. The breeze carries it to 55. Graham. Oh, he could nearly kick it from here. Scarlett leading forward. Graham. Scarlett. And no bounce through. Geelong in front. Graham's kicked it 60 metres. It's bounced through.
There's the siren. The Cats have won. Geelong have defeated the league leaders Port Adelaide by 1 point. 10-10-70. Port Adelaide 10-9-69 in a famous victory for the Cats.
Yeah, I was here, watching that game back and little highlights from it. The ground looks so different. We don't have all the magnificent stands we've got now, but there's, the standing room. I go back to my childhood memories of being here. We're filming this right now in the players' stand, and it's beautiful and everything like that. This used to be the Ross Drew stand, which was a couple of rows of seats and then a little bit of sort of pseudo undercover and maybe some little outdoor boxes. Well, we were second row from the fence. We had our family seats there. We had 3 there, and we had 2 in the very back row of the old Brownlow stand. So we'd often argue about whether or not we wanted to sit close to the fence and out in the rain, or you needed a little bit of shelter and you sat in the back of the Brownlow as a family. But they were my happiest memories as a kid, watching Gary Ablett Senior and Buddha Hocking and Couchy and Billy and Baz and Kenny Hinkley and all these incredible players play great football. So I was a member, I think, since about 5 years of age. So I know that all these people, you become a member for a long, long time and you feel a real part of the club. And then as a player, how much you appreciated the support of the members and the supporters. And hopefully that's what we're going to have this Sunday. Yeah, I love the fact that we do that here at the Cats, have to honour the fact that these players have come from all these different places on these different journeys and are together at the Cats now, but how much those local footy clubs, junior footy clubs, went into making these incredible players we see now. I loved my time at Joey's. I've still got great mates from it, still got great memories. I had wonderful coaches, parent volunteers who just put their hands up on a freezing cold winter's morning at 8:30 in the morning to do the goal umpiring, or umpire the game. As a kid, you take that for granted. Now as an adult, you understand how important that is for the kids. So I love the fact that that little logo will be on the jumpers this week.